Amado just kidnapped the one person keeping Boruto alive.
What?
We all know how many death flags this kid has in his own manga. It's like 10 at this point. And guess what? His brother Kawaki helped Amado do it.
But why?
For months, Kashin Koji has been playing 5D chess with the future itself, seeing timelines before they happen and guiding Boruto through every disaster to save Naruto and Sasuke. But in chapter 35, bro got packed up. So now, the Boruto and Kawaki rivalry has completely changed. Kawaki has just received yet another brand new buff, making him stronger than ever before as Amado installs another layer of broken hacks into his body. But forget Amado for a second, because Boruto and Sarada finally get the moment we've waited years for. But again, it sets up what might become the biggest tragedy into Blue Vortex. So let's break down everything that went down in chapter 35. After Momushi's death, the Shinju are becoming more human. We immediately cut back to Jura reacting, and surprisingly, bro isn't even angry. Jura explains that Momushi was completely consumed by his instincts and desire. He chased what he wanted so obsessively that he literally burnt himself out and died. But then, Jura drops a line that completely changes how we should view the Shinju and why I think there's brilliant writing happening here with his character. He states that twisted as it may be, maybe Momushi's obsession was just another form of love. And honestly, that perfectly sums up Momushi's entire existence and probably some of yours, because bro spawned into the world, saw Ada once, subscribed to her OnlyFans, bought the premium membership, and dedicated his entire life to chasing that punani. But underneath, jokes aside, Bug was someone who spent his entire life being looked down upon. He was constantly bullied by everyone around him. So it's no surprise that resentment became part of who he was. That's what makes Momushi inherit those buried emotions. So Jura is starting to understand something important about love. He doesn't want to think like an inferior creature, only acting upon animalistic instinct, as that makes him feel incomplete. And that should remind us of a terrifying truth, because the more human these Shinju become, the harder they're going to be to predict and defeat. Like, remember what Shikamaru said to Konohamaru? That right now, these overpowered, stronger than Atsuki-ass opponents are like wild beasts that can be manipulated and defeated. But if they become more complex, then only more issues will rise. So Jura, he then turns to Hidari and asks what he thinks. And this conversation gets really interesting because Hidari immediately points out something weird. He says if Jura truly wanted to save his comrades like Momushi, Matsuri, or Ryu, he probably could have recovered their thorn bulbs just like he recovered Hidari's. So why didn't he? Better yet, why did he save Hidari? And Jura's answer links back to Naruto and what he said to Sasuke during their final battle regarding the pain he feels when Sasuke is hurt. Jura doesn't even understand why he's feeling this way. He's basically discovering friendship for the first time, where he simply doesn't want Hidari to disappear. And I think Ikemoto is setting up something much bigger than you think. Hagoromo created Ninshu as a way for people to connect their hearts, understand one another, and share each other's pain. Naruto embodied that idea throughout the entire manga. Even after everything Sasuke had done, Naruto refused to give up on him because he believed their bond was stronger than hatred itself, breaking the cycle. But now Jura and Hidari are slowly forming that same genuine bond. But that's exactly why we should all be worried for Boruto and Sarada, because Naruto also taught us that on the other side of that philosophy, the deeper the bond, the greater the pain when it's broken. So if Hidari dies so Sasuke can finally be restored, Jura will lose the first person he genuinely cared about, and that grief could become hatred. And this links to Shikamaru once again, and about animals, where they're the most dangerous when cornered or when something precious is taken away from them. Jura has been calm right now because he's never experienced defeat or loss. But the moment Hidari dies by the hands of Sarada, that restraint disappears, and that will result in Konoha being destroyed. We then jump over to our girl recovering after the disaster against Mamushi. Sarada buys new glasses, and thank God she can still see. But we have no reason why she's not blind anymore, but let's just move on swiftly. Because in that moment, Boruto arrives, flying in and farming all kinds of aura. Sarada's mood instantly gets better, and he signals her to meet up outside the village. But meanwhile, Inujin is discovering the downside of becoming important in the story, because now he's Kashin Koji's personal hotline. He explains that he can contact him at any time, and Inujin, he immediately starts panicking, saying, bro, even when I'm taking a shit in the toilet, like imagine trying to take a peaceful dump as a ninja and suddenly getting a phone call saying, the future is collapsing, you need to save the entire world. But then again, tell that to my goat Naruto. He was taking a shit and had to use shadow clones to stop his two sons from killing each other in the original series. However, jokes aside, Inujin will be the only one knowing the truth and having to investigate where Kashin Koji disappeared by the end of the chapter. Because just you wait, things are about to get wicked. Because now the story pivots to the guy I've been telling you to watch out for years. This guy is a sussy baka, Amado himself. This guy wants the worst possible future to come true. Because whilst everyone is busy worrying about the Shinju, Jura and all this bullshit, this old man is cooking something in the background. So immediately alarm bells start ringing. We cut to Kawaki arriving at his lab, where Amado has built his very own frogs that will be controlled by his will. They are scientific tools that can be shrunk by Kawaki to completely hide them away from anyone, making them the perfect spying camera or even helpful in battle. He pulls up a status screen showing Kawaki's combat settings, like this is a freaking video game. And this is where things get interesting. Apparently, during the Mamushi fight, Kawaki wasn't operating at 100% attack power. He was running at 85% attack and 15% defense. And the second Kawaki sees this, he instantly starts tweaking out that nothing should be held back. I want to be a glass cannon so I can use everybody. But Amado, he immediately cooks his ass, saying, you're a useless piece of shit that has done nothing since the time skip has begun. You're only getting L after L after L, so sit your ass down right now, you little bitch, right? So he basically tells Kawaki, don't get cocky, because the only reason you're standing here right now is because I left 15% in defense. Because against Mamushi, Kawaki would have actually died. If his settings were set to 100% attack and Kawaki started spamming his jutsu, all it would take is one good attack to kill him from his opponent. And this is exactly what happened when he shut down at the worst possible time in the fight and was completely stupid and useless. So Amado, he reveals the real upgrade to his power. Because if Kawaki went full glass cannon mode against Mamushi, he would have died then and there, because all it would take is one good attack to finish him off. He can now remotely change Kawaki's stats whenever he wants, meaning Kawaki can instantly switch between 100% defense or attack or anything in between. Basically, Amado just turned this man into a literal video game character with adjustable stat points. And unlike normal shinobi who need years of training to improve chakra control, Amado just said, yeah fam, I'm just gonna download some DLC into your brain directly onto your goddamn body, and I'm gonna use the frogs to do this as they are the controlling device. So if Kawaki's defense is now at 100%, so let's say Boruto or Jura catch him off guard with a game-ending attack, it won't actually actually destroy him any longer. He's almost immortal. Not even Jura's tailpiece bomb would be able to take Kawaki out anymore, like it did against Boruto for instance, and he needed Himawari to heal him. And honestly, all of this story development, it should be giving Kawaki a big huge red flag. Because every time this man Amado says, "Trust me bro," somebody's gonna get violated. Like, the amount of trust Kawaki places in him, it really needs to be studied. Because everyone in the community has been questioning his character ever since the time skip started. And I think chapter 35 finally gives the answer you're looking for. Kawaki doesn't just make bad decisions. He's psychologically conditioned to, and that's what you need to realize. Because think about his entire life. As a child, his own father treated him like property, beating him and eventually selling him for money just to feed his alcohol addiction. Kawaki never experienced unconditional love growing up. His value has always been determined by what someone else could gain from him. Kawaki is portrayed to be this innocent, lonely and vulnerable child, the kind of kid that adults immediately try to take advantage of. Because on his way home, he stops to admire a tank of goldfish, showing that beneath all that trauma, he was still just a normal little boy. That's when a strange salesman approaches him. Realizing that Kawaki has no money, he offers to let him come and watch the goldfish for free, trying to earn his trust to manipulate him once again. The anime pushes this even further by revealing that this dude was just trying to lure Kawaki away and traffic him into slavery under the false promise of freedom. Then came Jigen and Ishiki, who literally turned him into a vessel, and once again Kawaki was used as a tool. But then Naruto entered his life, and for the first time somebody wanted nothing from him. Naruto just wanted him to have a home. That's why Naruto remains the only truly selfless person Kawaki has ever met, and now he's so deeply in love to protect that bond. Now here's the tragedy. Even after escaping abuse, Kawaki cannot escape that mindset that it created. He still instinctively clings on to whoever promises him the fastest solution to his problem. Which brings us to Amado. This man has been playing the dude from day one, being a sussy baka. Because remember, think about the story. Do you need karma back? Amado's the answer. Do you need more power? Amado's here. Do you need to protect Naruto? Amado conveniently has another shortcut to his problem, and he falls for it every single time because shortcuts is all that Kawaki has ever known. Bro, here's the words, "You don't need to train," and he immediately will sign the terms and conditions without even reading them. And the funniest part about all of this, or should I say the saddest, is that Kawaki genuinely believes he's the one that's in control. Amado can literally leave his offense to zero, making him no longer a threat to his own life. And the fact that there's a secret emergency shutdown code for Koji and Delta, what's to say that Kawaki doesn't have one as well? He has been completely dependent on the very person that he thinks he's manipulating, and that just proves once again that the story is mirroring his character with Code. Both of them worship someone, and both of them believe that the ends justify the means, and both of them desperately chase shortcuts instead of personal growth, and they are being manipulated by someone smarter than them. The only difference between Code and Kawaki is that Kawaki devotes himself to Naruto and Code devoted himself to Ishiki. Now of course nothing is ever free from this scientist, and in exchange for becoming stronger, Kawaki must use his jutsu to hide inside a data tool he will pass on to Inajin to track Kashin Koji, but just you wait for me to discuss it. However, Boruto has a plan to back up his future wife once she's captured. He hands her flying Raijin pins for him to teleport to as soon as it occurs. They will have to find Code's claw marks all over the village to destroy it with Kawaki's technique, but there's not enough time for that. So he warns her that this operation is incredibly dangerous, and that once she's inside the Shinju hideout, anything could happen. The only thing he asks of her is this: no matter what happens, never lose hope. And again, this line is inspired from the Matrix. Boruto represents the chosen one in Neo. The architect once said, "Hope. It is the quintessential human delusion. simultaneously the source of your greatest strength and your greatest weakness. And Boruto, he's never letting it go, passing it on to his comrade. However, this could end up being the biggest mistake Boruto has ever made. After years with Kashin Koji, it looks like Boruto has become far more pragmatic. He's willing to risk the person he cares about the most. And I think that's setting up a tragic foreshadowing. Because think about it, guys, Sarada only truly understood how much Boruto meant to her after believing she had lost him gaining Mangekyo Sharingan out of love, which led to her even admitting that she loved him. But now the roles are reversing. If Boruto is forced to watch Sarada's life slip away because of his plan and actions, it will finally make him confront his feelings that he's been suppressing the entire time, that he too is in love with her. And the chance of Boruto's plan failing, it has skyrocketed with the most important plot twist so far. But before I talk about that, let's cut back to the Shinju hideout because this is hilarious. Hidari has been staring at the same book for days, and Jura, he's completely baffled, wondering what could possibly have this dude so locked in. Bro's acting like he's reading Plato, Aristotle, Confucius all at the same time, like it's something peak, right? And this shit is so funny because Blood is frozen in shock at what he saw. Hidari was staring at pictures of cats, and there aren't even any words in this magazine. And Hidari, he just responds saying, "I know, I'm not reading it." This is so stupid. Hidari then asks Jura what he thinks of the book, and Jura's response is surprisingly revealing. He says that without any words, there's nothing to understand. And that's just fantastic writing. It's proper underrated unless you go balls deep, you know what I'm saying? Because we've all heard the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. But Jura, he literally can't comprehend that right now. He's trying to process the world through pure logic and information, almost like an AI that's just gained consciousness. So if there aren't any words to explain something, then to him it has no meaning, and he can't understand why a simple photo could make someone smile. But meanwhile, Hidari, he looks at the exact same pages and he says they're cute, and that tiny difference tells you everything about their evolution. Jura is still searching for knowledge, whilst Hidari has started searching and understanding his feelings that he inherited from Sasuke. Because guess what, you're probably wondering, what's this interest in cats, ABD? Well, Sasuke has been shown feeding stray cats in Sasuke Shinden, and in the data books it lists that cats are among the animals he likes, and the Uchiha clan historically shared a close relationship with this animal. However, we now cut to the plot twist that you've been waiting for. Amado stops Inujin and hands him a report containing all the combat data gathered during the battle against Mamushi. Now at first, like a Sasibaka, things seem harmless, but then Amado says something very specific. He wants Kashin Koji to see it, so Inujin reluctantly agrees to pass it along. He still hasn't received any updates from 10 directions to learn the future. So for the first time, Kashin Koji is completely blind, not knowing what's coming next. So Koji decides to play it safe, wanting to wait for another future update first before opening it. But then everything goes wrong. After taking the data from Inujin, Kawaki appears. He was hiding using his jutsu to shrink, and his other Atsuki ability to be undetectable to chakra tracing as well. And before Koji can even react, emergency shutdown is activated. Amado then transports him into his laboratory, and just like that, the most important ally that Boruto ever had is now gone. Now you might be wondering, why would Amado want the 10 directions, ABD? Well, that's because he wants to revive his daughter and for the worst possible future to happen. Once he learns how Koji possessed this Shinjutsu from the Atsuki god, it makes sense sense that he'd want to study, understand how it awakened, and potentially reproduce or weaponize it for himself. If Amado can reverse engineer the 10 directions the same way he has replicated other godlike abilities with the Otsutsuki god genetics, but instead using scientific technology, the implications of where the story is going, it makes sense why the future of Konoha is destroyed and Boruto is about to die. Now, to enjoy more peak fiction, watch this video on your screen right now.